Can you believe I just said that about a piece of metal? That was fun. Hi, everyone. The Judas Priest journey continues this weekend. And, well, yesterday, I guess we could say we swallowed a painkiller. Today, we're going to be, breaking the law? Let's find out. It's been a while since that happened to me. The video started and it was silent and I was thinking, is my volume up? Is it not? What's going on? Mute is not activated, and then pew, really startled me. Okay, now that I know what I'm expecting, this might go a little more smoothly.
Was completely wasting out of working down. All inside, it's so frustrating as I drift from town to town. Feels though nobody cares if I let one die. So I might as well begin to put some action in my life. Breaking the law, breaking the law, breaking the law, breaking the law. Breaking the law, breaking the law, breaking the law.
So, the thing that catches my attention right away is the way the music is so focused and directed and high energy. As it's talking about a personality, an individual, an attitude of non-direction, non-energy. There I was completely wasting, out of work and down, all inside. It's so frustrating as I drift from town to town. And there's this incredible drive through this, as if more like I'm a go-getter. I am on it. I am so here and in the moment and This to me, this music is not a drifter's down and out attitude at all. And so it feels kind of strange to have these lyrics set with this music. Okay, the refrain, the breaking the law, okay, got that. Because sure, you've made up your mind, you're going to go break the law. And there's this sort of well, again, the drive, the energy, the persistence, the determination, breaking the law, we're going to go break the law. Let's go do this. But it's the verse that really feels weird to me. The setting, the musical setting. I actually want to back up and hear that again. It's not that long.
There I was completely wasting out of working down. All inside, it's so frustrating as I drift from town to town.
Even the video that they put with it is not just somebody who is, I don't know, without any sort of success, without any sort. Look, even the way he's singing this, there's a potency, a power to it that is completely different than what I get from simply reading the lyrics. Watch him.
All inside, it's so frustrating.
Even the
town to town.
Those gestures with his fist are not drifting gestures. Look, the way he jumps out of here.
Breaking the law, breaking the law. Breaking the law, breaking the law. Breaking the law, breaking the law.
Okay. So, right. I understand. This is portraying, I don't know, bank robbery or something, looks like to me. So there is that. But as I was saying, even the way the car pulls in and he leaps out before the cars even come to a stop. There's this insistence and urgency, and it's more like a professional, focused criminal rather than, oh man, I'm just, I've got nothing else to do. Let me just go. What's that O. Henry story about? Is it O. Henry that wrote that short story about someone who was on the streets? It was winter, it was cold, and he wanted to have a warm place to sleep, so he tried to commit a petty crime and get himself locked up for the night, and all his crimes he couldn't get in trouble for. He ended up in front of a church and was finally arrested for, just even as his attitude was kind of shifting away from this idea of, I want to go to jail for the night. The music from the church was kind of getting to him. And it was then that an officer came along and arrested him for, I don't remember. It's been a long time since I read the story, right? But that sort of desperate, because I have nothing else to turn to. So let me go break the law because well, here, I want some action. Fine. I want somebody to care about me one way or the other. Fine. Let's go break the law. Okay, got it. But as I said, both the music and the visual elements are so different from the lyrics there. Okay, now why did I laugh? Because they're coming in. Let's go back and look at this. It's kind of funny.
Breaking the law, breaking the law.
Right here. I thought, when I first saw this coming in, I thought she was holding a rifle, or he was holding a rifle. And then it went to the next scene.
Breaking the law.
And I realized it's a guitar. This idea of breaking the law with what? Music? Breaking the law with a guitar, and their reactions as if they're in front of facing an armed robbery. Yeah, that was funny to me.
Breaking the law. Breaking the law. Breaking the law. Breaking the law. Breaking the law.
I like the way the guitar comes in on that.
For the golden future, I can't even stop. I've had every promise broken. Anger in my heart.
Okay, it changed
You don't know what it's like. You don't have a clue. If you did, you'd find yourself doing the same thing too. Breaking the law, breaking the law, breaking the law, breaking the law.
I have to say that as far as metal music goes, this is one of the, should I say, the better ones I've heard? Meaning, it actually has some more developed musical personality to my ears, to my perception. Again, I'm saying that and allowing for the fact that probably many of you who are metal fans may have a better feel, a better instinct for the subtleties and details of various songs. But to me, this one has a more colorful personality. And I think it's partly this humor element that is showing up both in the music and in the visuals. But I'm thinking, what if I had all these, what if I weren't watching the movie, or the video clip? What if I weren't watching that? What if I were just listening? I would still be captivated by this kind of quirky sense of humor, and the way that the music makes commentary on itself and on the lyrics. What do I mean by that? Let's back up here a little bit.
Doing the same thing too. Breaking the law, breaking the law, breaking the law, breaking the law.
So, for example, breaking the law, breaking the law. They present that in such a can I say a childish tone? As if they're trying to be angry, they're trying to be aggressive, breaking the law, breaking the law, breaking the law. And then, after attempting to be all serious and aggressive, criminal like, breaking the law, you hear the guitar go, pew, as if it's a sort of commentary on how well they're doing.
Breaking the law, 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 breaking the law.
And then
You don't know what it's like.
And then here's this catchy riff coming back in again from the beginning. And as it's building there, the mix of sound effects that I hear in the music itself, along with the way this musical commentary, the way that the music both dramatizes the story, creates this bit of, I don't know, I guess I would say theatrical element to it. Because, again, as I'm looking what's being portrayed here on the screen, it's okay, it's fun. It is. And I want to talk about that in a minute. But the music itself is also fun. It has this humorous quirkiness to it, this kind of put on seriousness. What do I mean by that? I guess I'm thinking of it in terms of a small child who's trying to be cross, but isn't really. And there's something about this music that strikes me as both very honest and open, like a small child, and at the same time, a little bit petty, a little bit self-absorbed, a little bit playing around with this idea, trying to be a lawbreaker, but just not quite managing. Even this idea of lawbreaker, which we see in the video clip here, this robbery, right? This musical robbery. What a wonderful idea! This musical robbery. We break into a bank. We threaten everybody with what? Guitars, of all things. We threaten everybody with guitars. And they panic and they go crazy as if they're under attack. And then we make our getaway as if we've been successful. What did we get away with? I don't know. I didn't see them taking anything, really. They were just playing music, right? The way they get the video clip to comment on the music, this officer who is playing the guitar, but he's not playing the guitar. He is shooting his guitar with the drums. Boom, 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 boom. And it's so funny the way that it all works together. I think that this is one of those, and I guess you rarely see me get excited about a video clip as being really an integral part of the music itself, of the song itself. But somehow I feel like this one struck the right balance of contributing to this humorous element that complicates the whole piece. Because if we simply stick with the lyrics, we have a classic story of a down and out person who's given up on doing things right in life, who's given up on the right way to live because I've had every promise broken. There's anger in my heart. You don't know what it's like. You don't have a clue. If you did, you'd find yourself doing the same things too. All of this. And so, of course, it's breaking the law. And as I'm listening to this music, it's so organized. It's a very well organized piece of music. And that to me is also a bit of the humor of it. Because if we are breaking the law with our guitars, if we're musically breaking the law, then my question is, where in the music do they actually break the law? Meaning the laws of music. And so it's this, again, this sort of childish, childlike, maybe I won't say childish, childlike, humorous element, which comes in, and I guess I could say lightens the mood of the lyrics. And it makes us relate to the whole thing differently than if we simply read this as a piece of poetry. Because as I read through this, you don't find much humorous in the lyrics themselves. And the way that it goes with the cymbal crashes. It's this. And it's becoming this incredibly joyous chorus. Okay, now. This just brought something to mind. When they come in with this chorus, listen to how incredibly joyful the voices are, and the clarity. As I was trying to comment, but it's hard for me to sometimes talk and listen at the same time. I think I might have stopped mid-sentence. The clarity of the guitars, dee 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 dee, and then the way that the next guitar comes in, gong, and then it coordinates with the cymbal crashes. So everything is very well choreographed musically, content-wise. And then they come in this time with a vocal chorus, we could say. Multiple voices. And here's what I like. So, even his dancing on the screen, breaking the law as he's playing his guitar, getting more animated, jumping around a bit, somehow I feel even more energy, more sort of vibrancy in the music itself. And like, it's so alive, it's so awake, it's so vibrant. You could say that it's maybe the feeling, the adrenaline rush after a clean getaway. You could say that. But somehow I feel like it's saying something else. And this joyous chorus, breaking the law, becomes the message of the piece. But it's not the lyrics themselves. And as I'm listening to this and taking in all of these different elements, I'm beginning to think that this piece is not so much about, say, social commentary, the reasons that some people break the law, as we might have guessed by the lyrics themselves if we were reading it as poetry. I begin to think that they are presenting this as a way of saying, look, if all you do in life is try to do things the way people say you should do them, try to meet the expectations, the law, the social expectations, the way life is supposed to go. The things follow the markers and reach the milestones that make society think of you as a successful, respectable, well-behaved personality. You're missing the joy in life. This is saying, to me at least, this idea of breaking the law, with this joyous expression, breaking the law, breaking the law, breaking the law. This is saying, go live your life as you should live it. Live it regardless of what people think is the correct way or the respectable way. If you have a family who has a tradition of everybody getting a PhD, what if that doesn't fit you? Well, by all means, break the law and be joyful about it. Celebrate this breaking the law. And somehow that's what I start to feel in this piece. And it's funny because it's not in the lyrics themselves. If I were simply reading these lyrics, I'm saying this again and again. I want you to get the point that this is something that the music is bringing into the lyrics. And this is how I feel the music shaping the narrative and giving the perspective of what we should take away from the lyrics. And that's what I appreciate about this video clip. Because it is consistent with the music. Look at this. Look at their faces. Look at the exhilaration that they have here as they're singing. All right, let's say this. Suppose the right thing to do, the expected thing to do is to grow up, go to college, get a degree in finance, marketing, become a medical doctor. And instead, you want to become a musician. Well, look at all these musicians breaking the law with utter abandon and joy and the exhilaration that they feel. It's such a good portrayal of what I am feeling and hearing in the music itself.
Did you ever meet someone who was under this kind of pressure from their family and they broke the law and they became a musician?
Oh yes, I've seen it. And I'm not speaking just musician. I've seen other situations, and it may not be family pressure. As I said, it may be societal expectations. It may be what our community expects of us. It may be what the larger society in which we live expects of us. The things that are taken as being respectable, that mean that you have checked all the boxes to become a successful human being. Those are the things that we need to question and look at ourselves and say, is this really the marker of success? If I pressure myself, if I push myself to achieve these, will it truly make me happy? Will it truly make me successful? Will it truly enable me to be my fullest, best self? Because the truth is, unless you can truly be who you are and feel free in who you are, you can't contribute successfully to society, to the world around you, to your family, even within yourself. You just can't be yourself. And so, to me, I think this is a great reminder for us all. Okay. That was fun. Can you believe I just said that about a piece of metal? That was fun. And I mean it sincerely. Will I find myself listening to this regularly? I have no idea. It's still metal.
But you will remember it.
But I will remember it. And I will enjoy remembering this listen experience. And who knows, maybe it will somehow end up on my playlist. I've no clue at the moment. But this was a rewarding weekend. And I appreciate all of you continuing to remind me and push me, say, try Judas Priest, try Judas Priest. And now I understand a bit about why you find Judas Priest so rich and meaningful. Because they are, and they have really struck the balance in both of these songs this weekend to convey, communicate, and express some not merely important, respectable topics, but music that comes alive and says what it is, who it is, how it is, with freedom and fun. So, a fun weekend, getting to know a bit of Judas Priest, and I would like to encourage each of you in your own lives to break the law in this way. I'll see you soon.